Hello Blues, good evening, it's Wednesday, hope everyone's doing okay. Me and Dan have a good chat today about the game last night against Zagreb and talk about the Wolves game ahead and where we're going as a team. We also talk about the Bernardo Silva potential 6-match ban and a few other City tidbits. Hope you enjoy it and just leave a few comments if you do. Thank you. Fantastic. So we've got a few things to talk about tonight, haven't we? Obviously, last night's game, and you want to have a bit of a chat about Dino as well, which is good. But how did you make last night's game then? How did you get on? How do you think it went?
It was probably one of the poorer games I've seen so far this season. To a degree, I mean, our finishing was awful. It was absolutely abysmal. I mean, we couldn't hit a barn door. We really couldn't. So Bernardo Silva had a great chance in the first half on the left-hand side of the goal and just blazed it over the bar. And it's really unlike him on the volley. But I don't know. There's only two standout performers from that whole game up until when Pep brought on Sterling and Foden, and that's Fernandinho and Rodri.
Yeah.
Those two, especially Dino, was absolutely fantastic. Winning I think he won at least 90% of the challenges he made, the headers he won, both of them did. And at the start, I was really dreading the game because did you see the injury? Rodri almost caused himself.
Yeah.
We were pretty much pitch level, and he was at least 6 foot off the ground with his back perfectly parallel to the pitch, and he just went smash onto his shoulders. And as soon as he went down and he started kicking out and you could hear him screaming, you just instantly thought, oh God, the one player we didn't want out.
Yeah, what want us to do?
Got up and shrugged it off. The proper old traditional footballer, isn't he? You know, it's cracking to see, but no.
He seems to have an old wise head on his shoulders, doesn't he, when it comes to football? He just seems to fit in so well.
Yeah, he's only, what, 23, 24, is he?
Sure, not sure. I know he's young.
It was like what you were saying last time. We struck a deal, bargain deal buying him, didn't we, really? He's at least another quarter of his price added on to his value. We should have paid.
I still think we owe him some more money. Absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant last night. But you're right about wasted possession last night. We had 20 shots and 6 on target. And I messaged my mate at half time. I was like, how are we not 17-0 up at this stage? Nothing just clicked last night. It was really bizarre to watch. How many other games where we see so many shots and one or two are just trickle over the line or get smashed into the back of the net and just nothing fell for us? It's absolutely bizarre. With all the possession we had, just nothing went in.
Credit to them, though. They did take the game to us. They were really well organised at the back. But when we did have our chances, we did scuff them because the goalkeeper... countless times I saw him pick up the ball. Some of the shots, especially from Aguero's had probably one of the worst games I've ever seen him last night. And about 2 or 3 of his shots just either hit the ground or just trickled to the keeper, you know, and it's such a waste. But credit to them, you know, they gave us a game, but in the end, our quality showed through.
No, you're right. There's an opportunity where what jumps out to me for Aguero, where he turned their centre-back and smacked a left-footed drive and it went high and left, which is unusual. Yeah. That's usually back of the net, isn't it? That's usually going in, and that's when I was like, can't believe that.
We were all up on our seats, definitely, and then we were just like, how?
But Sterling made a massive difference when he came on. He's what a player he is, crikey.
He does what traditional Sterling before the goals did, though, and he just makes the runs. Yeah. You know, he's tiring out that defence, and eventually he got his goal. And it was a scuffed effort. The defender helped it across the line, definitely, but it's a goal that counts, and he earned it. You know, the game he had at the weekend was probably one of his worst in a City shirt, and at least he redeemed himself. He got us a goal and set up Foden. You know, so you can't complain at all. He's
absolutely
up there, probably with Rodri and Fernandinho for man at match, and he was only on the pitch for half an hour.
I'm sure Pep had in his mind we were going to be 2 or 3-0 up at half time and to bring Foden on sooner. He just didn't want. He was just holding off, wanting to bring Foden on. Last 5 minutes came on for, didn't he? But he just tell from his post-match conference, because he was saying about he was saying that he was sorry for Foden. You know, he would have liked to have seen more of him.
Yeah,
I understand that, but if I don't know, he's just not got 100% confidence in him yet in starting the full game, has he?
No, well, I could. We were literally in line with a dugout and looking across, and you could see him warming up, and you just hear the tannoy go, and 5 minutes added on. You're like, poor lad, he's not gonna have hardly any time. And for me personally, it's what it looked like to me. Pep pointed back to the bench, and Foden started to turn. So I thought he'd said, right, don't worry about it. You're not going to come on. There's no point doing it. And you could see Foden waving his hands like that. No, I want to come on. He walked back down the steps and he was there. He was stretching. He was ready to come on. As soon as he came on, impact straight away. And it's so nice to see a true Manx score a goal and kiss the badge in it.
It was Sterling came out and saying he'd love to see him in the England setup. Absolutely. I think every Man City fan would want to see him in the England setup. I can see what he means. He just wants to play more games, and I can see why he's not in the England squad, because he's not playing every week. But bloody hell, the problem we've got, and this is a problem I don't like, is it's going to take Silva leaving for Foden to get more game time. And I want Foden to have more game time, but I want Silva to stay. I
think compared to what's probably going to happen over the next couple of weeks, I think we would all prefer that anyway, really, if, in a sense, Silva was to leave, just to let Foden come, because everything that's happening with Bernardo Silva now and De Bruyne could potentially be out for a couple of games. I think it maybe Foden's time that's...
We'll definitely come on to that Bernardo Silva bit. Do you think the Kevin De Bruyne one has been... do you know, I just thought to myself last night, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought to myself, do you know what, I think they're playing on this a little bit. I don't necessarily think he's injured. I think Pep's just not playing it. Whether he is injured, hopefully he's not, and I hope I'm right in what I'm saying, but it just got... Last time, when Foden... when Kevin De Bruyne was last dropped the other game, Pep got absolutely slated for it. It was the Norwich game, wasn't it, where we got beat?
Yeah.
Part of me's just thinking, do you know what? If he was to tell the media that Kevin's got a little knock and we're resting him, we're not going to get as much flack, as much grief come back from that. And do you think Pep's that type of manager that would do that, play that type of mind trick just to stop any kind of rumours coming in?
I could I agree with that 100%. I can see him doing that. But he's not the type of manager that would do that. I mean, when I saw it, because I was unfortunately watching it on the TV, that game, and he was holding his groin area. It's even commentators noticed it, and it didn't look like he was bothering him too much. And I mean, the City statement on the website only said he suffered a minor groin injury, and he'd definitely be a miss for this game. They didn't say anything beyond that, did they? So. Hopefully you're right, and it is sort of a little tactic, but
the problem is now playing this tactic. I know it's a little tactic, but my fantasy football, he's one of my main points. So come on, Pep, what are you doing, pal? Are you playing him or not? And I don't know. I'm more nervous about losing points in my fantasy football than Kevin at the moment. That's not true, obviously. I want City to win over anything else, but.
I'm fully City winning. My fantasy football team's gone out the window. I don't know. Well, I haven't looked at it for about 2 or 3 weeks now. It's
I'm doing all right. I'm 17th in the Manchester is Blue one. I'm doing all right in comparison. I thought I'd do shambolically this year, but this is it now. I've got loads of attention on it. So it's like, is De Bruyne going to play? Do I sub him out? Bloody hell! What do you do? It's horrible. I don't like it.
Wouldn't be surprised if I went on it. My account's been closed. It's been a little activity on my end.
What a finish by Foden, though. It was so nice. It was so nice.
It was almost like 10 years plus experience finishing, wasn't it? He's just so calm, and he could have had a goal about 2 minutes before that as well. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Sterling. Just wouldn't lay it off to the left, and he just waited and lost the ball. Foden could have been through on goal at least twice in that game, the final 5 minutes. But it's. I said to my stepdad when I went to the game, I struggle to see games at the moment, but tonight with De Bruyne, this was obviously yesterday. I said tonight with De Bruyne being out, I so hope Foden would play. He's the one player more than anyone, including Aguero, David Silva, and whatever. He's the one player I just want to see, because it's almost a breath of fresh air. The rest of the City squad are in there breezing through. The bags of quality. They can, stroll around the pitch slowly and still come off with that quality. Foden can do that, but he's just got so much energy And as soon as he comes on the pitch, he's everywhere. You know, he's chasing down balls, he's winning balls, he's through on goal, he's pushing the team forward. You know, it's like back to when I don't know, probably back to the early 2010, 2011 season or something like that, when we're starting to fight for things. And every time we got the ball, we used to just push straight away. Never mind fancy football, passing, we just went for it. And it's what he reminds me of. He just looks phenomenal. I can't wait for him to get a full season of probably 20, 30 odd games. It'll be brilliant.
That's going to be great. He's going to do so well. He just needs that. He just needs that chance and that opportunity. It's like who's that young defender? Taylor Bellis.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see a City player chanting in the crowd as well, isn't it?
To see, honestly, that was brilliant. I saw the Twitter video. I was like, "That's not him, is it?" And he's like, "It's him. That's fantastic." I'm sure there's another young academy lad next to him as well. I think there's a couple of them there. I can't remember the other lad's name, but it's fantastic to see that. It's brilliant. I just hope he gets another opportunity to play just for that. Yeah. Pure going. He
was good against Preston, wasn't he? He really stood out.
That's it. Yeah. Fantastic. So So talk to me about Dino then. You've obviously ranking him highly at the centre back position.
Well, yeah, it's not so much about last night's game as well. It's just you'd think for a 34, 35-year-old defensive midfielder going for the centre back position, he's not the tallest of lads either. You're going to need energy at that age. You're going to need speed. You're going to need everything. And he just doesn't look like that player, you know. He's obviously last choice in terms of defenders, but we had no choice. He's doing better than most of the defenders we've had in the past 5-6 years, bar Company and a couple of others. He just looks like he was born to play the centre-back role rather than a defensive midfielder role. Like I say, 90% he must have won last night, headers and tackles. It was everywhere on that pitch.
Yeah.
And even when he came out, because Cancelo, who also had a good game.
Yes, he did.
Right up the wing, Fernandinho came out to the right-back position numerous times. As soon as we lost the ball, you'd forget he was in that right-back position because you blink once and he's straight back in the centre defence again. You know, he's just so quick and agile. It's unbelievable. And I tell you what, if we win any trophy this year, it'll be down to him. It really will, more than anyone for me.
Absolutely stunning. I think it's that old adage, isn't it? Old adage. It's just his positioning and mentality to be able to win the ball well in the right position. I'm going to struggle to see John Stones getting back in.
No. I can see Dino keeping his place even if we get a few of them lads back.
Why would you drop him for John Stones? I generally can't see it. Particularly when we've got cover for Fernandinho midfield with Rodri, who's fantastic, and he's not losing his position anytime soon. So you'd have to ask your question for the stability. Fernandinho is going to be one of the first 3 or 4 names on the team sheet just for that stability at the back. I can't argue with you, Pat. I think he's been brilliant.
I'd love to see Dino and Laporte at the centre back though. See how that would work out. Oh. You know, Laporte's the big brute that can get forward. Dino could be the one tracking back and making sure the runs are stopped. You know, it just looks like it could be the perfect partnership. You know.
Does it make you think though that obviously we had Company, defensive midfield, brilliant defender. Fernandinho, defensive midfield, brilliant defender. What's Rodri going to be like in a couple of years? Is he going to be stepping back into that position?
He's got the height and the speed, though, hasn't he?
Not. You think about it. He could do that. He could. That tackle.
He won a lot of interceptions last night.
Yeah. Do you see that tackle Rodri got yellow carded for?
Yeah, that.
What is going on there? He was like 5 yards away from that.
I think the referee was fairly biased. So there was a lot of decisions that went against us that deserved to go for us. I mean, the penalty shout. So there was one where Aguero went to the right hand side and he was nudged slightly. I mean, it was like a puff of air on the back of his head, and he went down as if he'd been rugby tackled. And I think that sort of. I agree with the referee on that point, but there was. Who was it? It was tracking. It was middle at pitch, and they were on the attack. It might have been the Rodri one. I'm not sure, but he had a little niggle at him, and the referee gave the advantage to them. They took it into our half, and they were about to be thrown, but Mendy won it or something like that, or Dino won it, brought it back. It was about 30 seconds of advantage played, and then brought it back to the free kick. Are you watching the same game we're watching here? I know time seems to go very quick when you're at a football game enjoying yourself, but this referee just seemed. Well, it's UEFA.
Oh, yeah.
We know how UEFA loves City.
massive issues with him last night. The referee was absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
but speaking of bad decisions, are we going to lose Silva for 6 games? We cannot surely get a ban from him. Can we?
You can see it though. They'll make an example of him, won't they? I don't think it's got anything to do with him being City. I'm fully behind. Nothing should have come of it. It was a bit of banter between two players, best friends, and even Mendy said he found no issue with it. I can understand the finding him guilty of doing it because he put it out there on social media. If it was a private message, nothing would have been said. But how many times have we seen white players being compared to anybody, white, and nothing's ever said of it? I mean, it's sort of going off a little bit topic, but how many times we've called Wayne Rooney Shrek?
Yeah,
why has that never been brought back for anything? I mean, plenty of people have put stuff on social media, and I mean, fair enough, it's true, but it's just, if it was, it's wrong. It's wrong. I think it's PC gone wild. It really is. It was a bit of banter. Yes, it was out of bad taste, and I can understand why people would be a bit upset about it. But it was never, ever, ever made to be offensive from him. He's not that kind of person.
Just generally doesn't seem to be having malicious bone in his body. If anything, guilty of being a little bit naive. But still, to have this whole shenanigans in and around it. And I think you could tell with his performance last night, I think you could tell there was something just on the back of his mind yesterday. I might be completely wrong in thinking that. He might just have an argument with his missus. I don't know. Who knows? But it just last night.
We're not Spurs. We're not Spurs.
You see that?
I have.
Humor there, aren't we?
It's I tell you what, it's all clicking into place, so it makes sense. The story, I don't believe it. I was
like, oh yeah, he's been knocking his wife off, has he? That makes why the dressing room's not all
the black eye and all, doesn't it?
Guys, yeah. He's come out though, hasn't he? Was it you that shared with that? He's come out and.
No, I think it was Dan Halifax or Kieran, I think.
Oh yeah, when I saw that, I was like, God, that really makes sense. I just kept thinking of John Terry and Wayne Bridge.
Although I couldn't see Harry Kane punching him though. That's the thing. That was the one thing that was saying Harry Kane was the one who punched him. I don't think he could hit water if he fell out of a boat, but it's one of them.
Oh well, I just think to myself, the FA just going to be slap on the wrist, no game ban. I just keep thinking back to myself do you remember when Evra got abused by Suarez?
Suarez, yeah.
A 7 or 8 match ban.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a completely different.
Well, that was full on malicious, though. That was intent.
Absolutely. You can't get Silva 6 matches and then Suarez 8 matches. It just the two things just don't weigh in at all whatsoever. Whatsoever. And if he is banned for a little bit of match time, then when who've we got next? We've got Wolves, haven't we? Big game. Crikey, big game on Sunday.
Yeah. Are we away or at home? We're away out.
Oh, crikey.
We're at home, aren't we? I completely forgot it was Wolves. I keep thinking it's the international break this week.
It's 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. I can't remember if we're home or away. I need to check my diary.
Either way, it's going to be a tough game.
Well, absolutely it is. I mean, they're not as firing on all cylinders like they were last year.
No,
but, they're still dangerous. They've still got a chance of scoring against us, and we need to bring it at a top game. And obviously, I'm hoping still. I can't. No, actually, the FA need to hear back by the 9th of October, so it's going to be way after that game. So we should have him for then. But I'd like to think it'd be all done and dusted by then.
Yeah, it's one of the. I think it might be a squad rotation game anyway. Though I mean, he played almost a full strength team last night.
Yeah,
but I can see Zinchenko coming back into left back because Mendy was very, very poor last night. He gave the ball away countless times last night, and he just seemed a shadow of himself since he's come back from injury. But I don't know whether that's just because he's played 2 games. No, he didn't play at the weekend, did he? He's played a few games since coming back from injury, and I don't know whether it's just sort of that rehabilitation is it's coming a bit too much. But
it definitely is. I'm in game management. We're at home at Wolves on Sunday. Got to work that out. I think
Jesus will definitely start though.
Do you think so?
Yeah, without a doubt. He's on very good. I mean, you've heard me big him up on the page in our private message. He just looks so much better than the past few seasons. He looks so much hungrier. And that statement he put out a few weeks ago as well proved that for me.
Yeah, no, it's a good shout actually. And you know, Sergio didn't do great last night, did he?
No, it was probably one of his worst performances I've personally seen of him. But it might just be one of them where you just chalk it off. I mean, we know he's got all the quality in the world. You know, he can have a really bad game for all I care. For what he's done for us over the past few years, I couldn't care less. But going based on form with that game, and he's played almost a full 90 minutes, Jesus will get the nod for me. What
do you reckon about Mahrez? He's missed the Champions League for us at the minute, isn't
he? He is. But at the same time, what did he do last night?
Oh, yeah, did he not assist? Did he assist?
Did he assist? Oh, he did. He assisted Sterling's goal, didn't he? Of course.
Take
that back then.
Do you know he's doing well for the Champions League? He's got 2 goals and 6 assists in our last 8 Champions League games, so he's not doing too bad.
Well, it's past 17 starts. He's been involved directly in 17 goals as well, hasn't he?
Ridiculous.
Well, it'll be 18 now after last night, won't it? 18 starts, 18 goals. He's getting there, isn't he? I think last season, what Dave said in our group, he's last season was his bedding in season. Now he's able to play how Pep definitely wants him to play. He's had a full summer just to follow it through. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you reckon he'll start on Sunday then?
Depending how Pep takes to this Bernardo Silva thing.
Yeah.
Because I can see him dropping him just on base of that, just to the bench. I don't see him dropping him for the full squad. But if it more depends on that. If Bernardo Silva's playing on the first team, Mahrez will be on the bench. If he's not, Mahrez will start for me. Because I think he's got to rotate that midfield about. Again, it depends on whether De Bruyne is fit. We need confirmation, don't we? But I wouldn't be surprised if he starts Foden because of his statement last night where he's sorry for him. But again, it's like you said with the Fantasy League, you just don't know with Pep. For all we know, he could start Walker at centre-back and play Fernandinho up in defensive midfield, and Rodri could be on the bench for all we know. It won't happen, but it's
do you know I've got Kevin De Bruyne, and I'm 50-50 about him. Who else have I got? I've got Aguero up front, and I'm just thinking to myself, now you've said about Jesus, it's like, do you know he could as well start him over Aguero. I can't have a nightmare here. I have an absolute nightmare. I've got David Silva as well. I'm just thinking, do you know what's going to happen here? I could see. Do you know? I don't know if he dropped Silva or not. Probably wouldn't if De Bruyne's not playing. But again, it's so hard to have City players, forward City players in fantasy football because you just no idea who's going to start, who's going to play.
That's the good thing, though. I mean, you're obviously stressing about it not getting your points, but at the same time, you've got to love being Pep, haven't you? Having all that quality to choose from, and you don't really know who to start.
We're City fans. We're not sure who's starting. Imagine what the other team's thinking. The other manager's thinking, I'm up against this. Who's going to play?
Completely agree.
How do we start here? Oh, craziness. So come on then. You love your big scorelines, and I doubted you so much the other day.
It was the one time, who did we beat? Watford, wasn't it? The one time I don't, suggest it's going to be an 8-0 scoreline. They win 8-0.
I do. I thought of you when it happened, and I was like, oh, you'll be kicking himself. Come on then. Give us a score. What do you reckon?
If we're at home,
Wolves.
I think they'll definitely get a goal for me. They're not.
City.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll go for a 1-goal to Wolves and a Foden 4 goals, Sterling with 3. So that would make a 7. And Aguero for a couple. Let's go 9-1. Sod it.
No, you can't. You got to start doing this.
No, 3-1. 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Football in scoreline that. Yeah, I'm gonna do a. Do you know? I don't think they'll score. I don't think they'll score. I hate doing predictions.
Wolves or City?
Yeah, no. I can't see Wolves scoring. I don't know why. I'm gonna go for 2-0. I don't really do predictions, but I just think to myself, do you know what? The Wolves have definitely got a chance to score, but if the defence stays the same as it is, stays solid, I think I agree with what you're saying about Zinchenko for Mendy.
Walker will be back in the team, so it's another.
I can see Walker being there back in as well. So I think we'll be solid at the back, especially with Rodri there as well. I can see us scoring because I think we could score against anybody. So yeah, I'm going to go for 2-0. 2-0 to the good. And we'll see. And we'll come and laugh at my prediction, and you should have stayed at 9-1 last year.
I should have stayed at 9-1, yeah. So we're seeing into the future. I should have said 10-1, shouldn't I? We've got to go for that 10. We've hit all the other numbers by 10.
Yeah, we've got a 10-1 score, haven't we? Bloody heck. I was looking at some fixtures before, and I've got them in front of me here. You know, the City had the record attendance for a home game for like a million years. I've got it here. So it was Main Road. We played Stoke in the FA Cup 6th round in 1934. 84,569. I've been bragging about City having the best home attendance ever, and then bastards, Spurs having Wembley Stadium. I completely forgot about that. They've gone to number 1 now. 85,512. I was like, oh, you can't have that national stadium as you. And then they can. It was their own ground. That really bugged me. That.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I don't think many will be coming after that very, very convincing win last night. But you know, nah. I mean, us as City fans, we'll always hear the jeer what we are, the Etihad or something like that. I think isn't it the past 10 years we've had an average of the top 10 highest average attendance.
Yeah, the attendance
compared to seats. But
it's ridiculous. The people just like to try and wind up though, don't they? It's it gets a bit boring now, but it's, as long as we don't care, that's the most important thing.
We get to watch the best quality football. So
absolutely, I need to have a bit more of a look and a few more stats about what we're going. But it's stuff like when we got relegated to the second tier with 25,000 fans at home. Who else would do that?
No.
No, my man. We've got a fan base. We've got about that, and I'm not too sure what the attendance was last night. Do you know what it was?
Well, I'm a bit confused by that myself because I was a bit annoyed by it as well because that was my first Champions League game for about 3 years. Last time I went was Gladbach thrashing a 4-0.
Yeah.
And I had a little cheeky look on the website before we went last night, and all but I think 3 blocks in the Etihad were sold out. There was 3 blocks that were still, and there was about maybe 2 or 3 seats in each of those 3 blocks left. And I went to the game, and there were so many blue seats. I don't know why. Because the season ticket holders aren't holding it either. So I honestly, there was a lot there. Don't get me wrong. The attendance was really good for a Champions League night. But at the same time,
higher up, isn't it, or in the gods?
Higher up was absolutely packed. The top tiers were absolutely packed. The away fans, they had the top tier section empty. They only used the 2 tiers.
Okay, yeah.
Which is probably a good thing considering all the kickoff. But I don't know. I'd have to say probably about 40, 45, 46 maybe. It definitely wasn't a full.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a full house, was it? You mentioned about the kicking off. I saw Nazi salutes and all sorts on Twitter this morning from their fans.
Yeah, I did.
You say you saw a fight as well?
There was a fight about 20 minutes into the game, I think, coming over to the East Stand side. They were kicking off and pushing stewards out of the way and stuff like that. But there were only... It was rough, don't get me wrong. You could have got kicked out by it. They were pushing the stewards about and stuff like that, but you clearly tell they were just up for a fight with the City fans because I saw plenty of them hugging and shaking hands with the stewards. You could obviously see they were saying sorry, but the video popped up as well. I saw about an hour or 2 ago, and it's the other side where we're behind the goal, and so much like, come on then. They weren't watching the game for about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
just proper having it at us. And we just carried on. We kept singing Blue Moon and City, best team in London, all the world, and they didn't look at the game. But they've always been a rush. I don't like to big up them all as one big group, but they always seem to be up for fights rather than the football game.
Yeah.
Good turnout as well. You know, the team played well as well. I mean, fair enough, they cheered them on almost every minute of the game, even when they went 2-0 down near the end. They were still cheering them on. But there's just no need for the fighting or anything like that.
There was loads of them in Manchester Piccadilly tonight as well. When I was coming out of town, there was quite a lot of them near Piccadilly Gardens. I don't know if they were waiting for a coach or what it was, but they were definitely still around. So they must have had a bit of a hangover this morning.
Make a quick scarper back home before you get caught up in the middle of it.
I love Champions League nights though, just for the atmosphere, for the away fans must make another noise. It's just the different noises that you hear at Champions League matches. I love it. Well, it's a different atmosphere than a normal home game, isn't it?
But yeah, but that's sort of my stepdad was saying as well. It's if you went to their stadium, their away fan section would be everywhere around that stadium, and for some reason we have the burst, so we're like all up and shouting City, City, and chanting and stuff like that, and then the rest of us are just sat down. There was some fans behind us. Every time we got up and we were close to scoring, they were like, sit down, they won't score. Why?
Different culture with us and them, though, isn't it? One thing I noticed about all their away fans, it's all men. You know, there's no kids or women or anything like that in their away. It's just, I think it's just
a good thing because they all had the tops off as well. So I don't think it'd be the best sign.
Well, I don't know. It could be.
Well, yeah, well, you know what I mean, but
you're not having binoculars in, sir. Amazing. Oh, fantastic.
Well, this is taking a turn.
I know. We need to go, don't we? It's a pleasure as always, my mate, to speak to you. We're going to have a chat again next week.
Yeah. I'm sure other lads will be able to join as well, get a bit more feedback. I'm just glad, in a way, Dave isn't on tonight because all I'll hear is you still banging on about Ronaldo and Messi. And
yeah,
I know now he'll see this video and I'll get a message off him, but you know.
Oh, Bill, have a great night, mate. I'll speak to you later.
You too, buddy. All the best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.